Peace. Welcome back to the Voices of Reason show. I'm your host, Kilo Slim, and today we got a very energetic, positive energy having guest in the building. I'm gonna slide it around so she can properly introduce herself. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, man? Hey, man, my name is Melayshia, aka Late 2 Times, because you got to say it 2 times. Born and raised Omaha, Nebraska. You know, just here to talk about my brand called Mid. Stand for Money is the Drug, and I hope y'all take some time to listen to what I got to say about it.
Okay. Money is the drug.
Yes.
Where did that? I see that a lot.
That's good. I like to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, I seen it. I didn't know. You know what I mean? I didn't know who it was. I just seen it. I feel like I seen it on Instagram somewhere. It's just social media everywhere.
For sure, and I love to hear things like that because what I've been doing recently is. To grow my business more is I've done my best to be a little bit more out in the community, participating in community events as a vendor, these radio opportunities, you know, so you might have heard me on the radio before, you know, and I always hear people when they meet me in person, they're like, oh man, I always wonder, you know, who is the voice, you know, the face to the voice, and so that's me in reference to where I got it from. To be honest, Miss Gladys just was in here. This was like back when I was working like so many jobs and hustles, and it was simply an expression to how I felt about money. Like money is the drug, you know, because to me, a drug is anything that has influence on a mental state of mind. If you guys take a look at the dictionary, it says a substance or a narcotic that has a psychological effect. But if you take away the substance and the narcotic, anything can really be a drug, you know, and it's all about influence. And the same way people go about money, it can also come with bad habits, you know, and it's all about gaining control off those bad habits and doing it the right way. You know, it's okay, you know, to be about your money, but how are you managing and maintaining it? And that's the vision behind Money is the Drug, is to make sure, is to make sure everybody managing and maintaining their money the right way. Like I said, back then it was just, you know, an expression, but I ended up getting a job at the bank. And then I learned I got put on games so much. I was like, oh no, man, we got to turn this into a deeper meaning. And really the deeper meaning is being able to put everybody on game about how to manage and maintain their finances, credit especially, you know, because I remember being fresh out of high school, not knowing nothing, you know, and we can all relate, you know, a lot of financial values came from trial and error, and that's even if you learned your lesson from it, you know. So I just want to be that voice to tell everybody, you know, hey, like let's turn the way we think about money around. You know, let's actually, instead of being, you know, consumers and spenders, let's be investors instead. You know, let's actually go about things the right way. And so that's how I came up with it.
Yeah, that's peace. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. So when did you decide to like actually like chase it? What happened in your brain? Like what clicked?
What clicked, to be honest, getting all the game from my job, I applied that information to myself, and when I actually saw the changes, I was like really impressed. I'll tell y'all, when I started my job at the bank, I had a 540 credit score. I thought I was about to live lavish, you know, I had my money together, you know. I wanted this loft downtown, and you know, I knew something was up with my credit, but you know, I was like, man, let me just see if I could throw some money, you know, because they say sometimes, you know, you can throw that money out there sometimes. Too, like. Yeah, but nah, they was like, excuse me, miss, your credit not right, so you can't get this loft. And so they started telling me about like a co-signer, and I'm like, nah, man, I don't want none of that, you know. And so what I did was I told myself like, all right, man, let me figure out what it is, because the landlord, she said something interesting. She said, okay, look. She said, it's not really that you have bad credit. She's like, you really don't have any credit. And what they call that is like a thin file. You know, you don't have enough information for them to determine, you know, if you're worthy enough, you know, to be approved. And so I was like, okay, well, let me just go ahead and check out my credit score. I had like a credit card on there that, you know, I was young and dumb, you know, max that bad boy out, never thought about it ever. Student loans, you know, and so I was like, man, heck shit. And so I'm like, okay, man, well, let me see what I can do, you know, to get myself back in order. And so what I thought was, you know, them harassing me for those student loans was actually an opportunity. And it's so crazy because I wish I was more serious, because we had, who was it? Student loan forgiveness program blowing down my phone. You know how people come when it's time for the bill collector. It's like, man, call my phone, man, I'm getting this money. Right. so I actually called them back, you know, and they asked like, okay, so, you know, how are you operating your money? You know, and I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I wasn't gonna tell the truth. I was gonna make, I was just gonna make it like, hey man, I'm tight on my ends, you know, so help me out. And that's exactly what they did. And I'm gonna tell everybody, they wanted me to make $5 payments for 10 months, which is something that I definitely could do. And so I'm like, all right, well, let me go ahead and do that. And so after those 10 months, you know, they took it out the collections, you know, they put it back to the federal loans. And what happened was, within those 10 months, it turned my collection account to a positive open account, you know, and that's really what boosted my credit up. From there, you know, like I said, putting all this game into everybody's ear at work, I had realized like, okay, well, I need to do something else, you know, to kind of better improve my credit. And so what I did was got a secured credit card. And a secured credit card is basically where you get a deposit, or you put a deposit down that's to secure your credit line, just in case, you know, you mess up. I always call it like a pre-test. You know, so that way, you know, you're not out here just getting a credit card and messing up. You know, you actually got something to kind of fall back on, just in case anything wrong happens. And so I was like, okay, I put $300 down. I was monitoring my credit and everything like crazy. They said 30%. So 30% for $300 to me was $90, but they like really to the penny on the thing. So Credit Karma hollered at me and was like, nah, man, you need to do $87 or less. And so, you know, I started doing that, started paying attention. A year later, you know, I got my deposit back because I was maintaining, you know, my credit card the right way. They boosted my credit limit, and from there, shoot, everything was good. But, you know, I'm not gonna act like it was perfect, because, you know, just last year, my birthday was in September. I kind of wilded out.
Yeah,
you know, yeah. I did, and which, you know, I took a hard hit, but just recently I showed everybody, because, you know, I had wanted to make sure that I showed everybody my journey. So on Facebook, everybody saw where I was at from the 540, you know, and then just recently on Facebook, I had the opportunity to show people like, yo, I'm back at my 814, you know, sure, and everybody like, oh yeah, like that's dope, that's great. And so I get a lot of family and friends, or even people on Facebook who know me, you know, kind of drop in my inbox like, hey, you know, like, what's up? And I like that, because a lot of people, for whatever reason, it's like they so afraid of numbers, you know. And I'm not quite sure if you've seen one of my favorite designs, but it's the Medusa. Yeah. So thank you, I appreciate it. And so what I love about the Medusa, I see her as my mascot, because she represents fear and desire. You know, everybody has the desire to want money, but they always fear, you know, knowing its worth, you know, how to handle it the right way. And so, so that's why I really enjoy having the Medusa, because it's so relatable to everybody.
I like that. That'll make me like it even more.
Yeah, for sure. You know, a lot of my stuff always have messages. Even this, you know, I had a message for the Uncle Scrooge, but it became a deeper message when I went out to California, because a lot of the old heads was liking it. You know, they like, oh man, you got Uncle Scrooge. You know, they remind me of like my, you know,
that's how I feel.
And it's crazy because none of the young cats have really hopped on this yet. It's been a lot of the old heads, the older crowd or whatever, which I still think is cool, because, you know, they out here rocking stuff, and they say money is the drug. It also reminds people to be open-minded, you know, about the information that you're taking in. And as long as you can relate, it's more so, it has a more so sentimental value to it, you know. But I was telling them, the old heads, like, yeah, man, you know, Uncle Scrooge was the biggest fiend out there, you know what I'm saying? You know, he wasn't giving up no money, you know what I'm saying? Richest man in the world, you know, and it was the reason why he was like that, you know, so I figured it would be a good fit to Money is the Drug, you know, sure.
Right. It's like you showing the positive and the negative
yeah, absolutely, you know, and that's why I feel like it's just so important to have such a strong title, you know, because when I first started out in 2016 with Money is the Drug, I had like a lot of backlash, you know, a lot of people was looking like, you know, like, what's she over here?
They didn't want to deal with that truth. That's why.
Yeah, like, you know, and I mean, I still get it to today's date, you know, the people who kind of look like money is the drug. Like, why would you name your business that, you know? But when I actually get a chance to talk to them and, you know, actually let them know what it's about, the reaction to it kind of switches their reaction from, you know, something negative, in which, of course, a drug has a very negative background. I can most definitely understand that, but let's change the narrative on it. You know, let's bring some influence and some positive, you know, within it.
I mean, that's how I looked at it when I first saw it, because it's like drugs being abused, I look at like badly. Yeah. But then it's also drugs that help you. Absolutely. Can expand your consciousness.
And kind of just depend on the individual. You know, and like I said, once again, something that's relatable, depending on, you know, who we working with, you know, who the audience is. But it's most definitely been an exciting journey. You know, the clothing line is one aspect, but one of my goals is to really, no matter if it's schools or figuring out how I can get in some workshops, I really just want to tell everybody my story, you know, because like I said, my money handling came from a lot of trial and error, and a lot of our money handling came from trial and error. To me, the problem is I don't agree with us having to go through life after high school without that base, to me, what's now considered basic financial knowledge, you know, because if I would have known then what I knew now, I would have been well better off, you know. I even tell people how when I was in high school, I had the opportunity to participate in a program. It was the Bridge to Success program by Monica Beasley, in which I had the opportunity while I was in high school to take courses at Metro, and Miss Beasley had set me up with a business mathematics class. And so at that time, you know, I'm in high school, you know, I had a job, you know, I wasn't really feeling the early Saturday mornings, you know, and then I couldn't understand my teacher either, so that even made it worse. But, but you know, 10 years later, I figured out, like, dang, man, that class was exactly what, you know, and it eats me up inside, because, like, damn, I could have had all this game, but meanwhile, I was being a knucklehead, you know, not really paying attention, not really listening. But it's important for kids to know, and it's also important for the adults to know, like, hey, man, we've all been through this, so let's make sure that us, you know, not depending on the school system, because clearly, you know, they you know, that's not their real focus, you know.
It's not their job.
Yeah, you know, so it's up to us, or me especially, you know, to just tell them, you know, like, hey, adulting ain't, you know, what you think it is, and this is what's important for you to know. You know, I get people who are very uneducated that call into my job all the time. You know, they don't know what their routing and checking account number is. They don't know how to read that from a check, you know. Meanwhile, you know, you had to have that information for your direct deposit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I mean, certain companies need that to pay your bills and everything. And so people still call debit cards, credit cards, and it's a difference, you know. I feel like it's important for people to know that, you know. Like I said, I just was able to observe that from my job, you know, like, dang, you know, these people really don't know these type of things, you know, and I remember that I didn't know these things.
I wasn't aware of none of that until I was 30.
Yeah, they say, hey,
so
like
that's
I
like
said.
5 years ago. Like, I'm an 80s baby, so cash was king. That's what we was always taught.
That's what they say, but it ain't right.
It ain't right. Like, I remember when first time I tried to get an apartment, and I was like, I talked to him, we did all this stuff, and they're like, okay, 3,000, you can move in. I showed up with 3,000 cash. Yeah. Like, let's go. And they were like,
that application
well, you're going to need the application fee. You're going to need a money order because we're not taking cash. I'm like, what?
Like I said, something relatable. You know, like I said, hey, I came with 3,000. You know what I'm saying? Sure. I was like, are you sure? I said, man, I got the deposit. I got 2 months rent.
Yeah, I'm like, ready.
They like, nah, like, that's not how it works. And so I just want, you know, the upcoming, you know, the young teens and everything to just be ready for that, so they know how to, you know, make the right decision effectively. Like I said about a co-signer, you know, a lot of people get caught up in those co-signers. You know, they think they're looking out for a friend, or, you know, they just choose the wrong person, you know, or it could be vice versa. You know, you sit here and have a co-signer, meanwhile you're not being responsible and you're messing up somebody else's credit, you know, and that's unfair. So, like I said, I just think it's real important for, you know, everybody to just have that information, like, you know, the do's and don'ts. You know, I can most definitely be the person to tell everybody, like, I went about it the completely wrong way, but it's because I didn't know. And like I said, if you don't know something, how you supposed to know how to go about it? Right. So that's why when callers do call in and they're asking questions, especially when it's the beginning of them having a credit card, I always praise them, because I'm like, well, I'd rather you be having this conversation with me in the very beginning, unlike some of these other card holders who are frustrated, because I'm giving them information correctly, and they just upset because they can't understand that,
Yeah, you're right, because that is a big thing. That was my main, that was one of the biggest obstacles for me. Was like I always bought, I never bought a car from a car lot. I always bought one cash.
Me either, but it's okay though. Hey, to me that's
now,
okay.
I know, because when I wanted to do something, they was like you said, you have no history. It's not good or bad.
You want to know something? Because you said that. One of my friends, because like I said, I love telling my friends about different kinds of opportunities. My uncle had put me on game about getting a vehicle from Enterprise. Once vehicles from Enterprise reach a certain mile, they actually throw it off of the rental option. They actually put it for sales option. Meanwhile, you got these really nice cars with decent miles for a really great price. And one of my friends was actually able to get her a whip, and I'm like, dang, I've been trying to tell people, and people, and a lot of people, they kind of look up to me well, you ain't did it yet, but, I like old schools, you know what I'm saying, them 90s whips, you know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason I haven't done it, but I do also tell a lot of my friends, well, whenever I'm ready to pull a vehicle off the lot, that's who I will go through, because a lot of people, like I said, all they think about is, the brand, oh, I need this from Dodge, or oh, I need this from Ford, or whoever, this and the third, and I'm just like, I mean, that's cool and all, but you can get you a real nice whip, you know what I'm saying, for a really great price if you go through Enterprise, or, ain't nothing wrong with getting a vehicle off the street, because, all my trucks, if it wasn't for unforeseen circumstances with, car accidents, man, I had some good stuff for good prices, and I enjoy it. Hey, and I like that, save me some money.
For real, save you money. That's my philosophy. That's how I always did it. I just save money and just buy something cash. You know what I'm saying? But then it's when you're talking about buying a house, or,
they want
to invest in some type of business. They're like, okay, well, who are you? Because
you don't have nothing actually reporting, which is true. But I always tell people, once you actually start monitoring your finances and you become a little bit more cautious as to what you're applying to. Like now, I'm in a situation where my final hard pull. And basically a hard pull, for anybody who don't know that's listening, is when you go to apply for a type of credit and they got to do a hard check, which means it's going to have a ding on your credit score. You have to be very cautious of those, because credit reports or the credit bureaus, if you get more than 2 or 3, they looking at it like, oh man, you got too much. You applying too much there. But if you decide, like me, I just got that credit card, but it's about to drop off because it's been 2 years, and so now I don't have any credit inquiries at this time. So now I'm trying to figure out well, dang, what's going to be the best thing for me at this time, because here I have a really high score, and with that high score, even though it might take a hit, I'm still at a good position where that hit ain't gonna hurt me as bad, and I can kind of play around with it, because the homie just tried to put me on with the home loan. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. And he was asking me the questions like, well, what's everything that you got? And I told him I just got 1 credit card, 1 loan, and he like, oh man, that's perfect. We don't get people like that, to come around with their stuff like that. And so when it comes to accounts, I always tell people, just be cautious with the type of accounts and how many accounts that you're applying for at a certain time. It should be like levels to it. Don't just be in a rush. For sure.
Definitely. So we come to the part of the show where you gotta let people know where they can get in touch with you.
Oh, definitely.
Anything you want them to know about you before we go? It's this is it.
Oh, for sure, man. So my energy is like this all the time. For sure. If y'all are interested in me coming, if y'all are connected to schools, any type of workshops, y'all can most definitely hit me up with an email at mid, that's MIDD for Money is the Drug, at moneyisthedrug.com. Again, that's MIDD at moneyisthedrug.com. If you want to shop with me, check out my website, www.moneyisthedrug. Again, that's DA moneyisthedrug.com. Social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is all Money is the Drug LLC. Come holler at me. Like I said, I'm really looking for some opportunities to come, put the young kids, adults on game about, how to manage and maintain their money the most effective way possible, so that way, they not going through what we went through. Like I said, everybody done been there before, and I'm sure everybody wish that they had that additional game then as compared to now. But I mean, hey, even now it's cool. So yeah, man, hit me up anytime. Like I said, via email. If y'all want to hit me up via phone number, it's 619 area code 804-2542. If I don't answer, it's just because I'm cautious. Feel free to send me a text message or leave a voicemail. I'll make sure I hit y'all back, okay?
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, I want to tell you, I want to say thank you.
Oh, for sure, man. Thanks so much, Kilo, man. I had fun with you, man.
Definitely, definitely. And you're welcome anytime, if you got something that's new that you want to come and let us know about.
Okay, for sure.
Just let me know. Hit me up. Yeah. You're always welcome, what I mean?
I heard you're an E40 fan, too,
so we're going to have to is the GOAT. He's the greatest alive.
Thank you. Yes, one of my favorites. And I see that you checking out J Stone next week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too. Okay, yeah. So I got something for you, too, for that, especially if you're a Nipsey fan. I got something for you, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what we do. So, yeah, like I said, it was a pleasure meeting you. I'm glad that you came. All the people out here who've been hitting me up, this episode covered a lot, because a lot of people ask me about financial stuff, and I don't think that they should ask me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you got somebody to send them through now.
Yeah, now we got somebody. We'll talk about that later. They already know. I hate the IRS. But anyway, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Check in, go get y'all some gear, get y'all some merch, and I'm
knowledge
see y'all next
too.
time. No doubt. Peace.